Okay, so at what age did you really start enjoying your life?
What age did I really start enjoying my life? Well, that's an interesting question because that my one of my closest friends and I we occasionally talk about the art of having fun. Because that's what it boils down to. Everything that happens in our life, all the circumstances that happen in our life, we give meaning to it. We either decide something's great and therefore I'm happy because of it, or it's the worst thing ever and I'm mad, miserable, sad, depressed, whatever it happens to be. So you have to understand that you're the one that gives the meanings to the circumstances of your life. And most of us, our self talk is pretty crappy and pretty shitty. I mean, if you want to find out for sure, do this quick little exercise. Take a piece of paper, make two columns, and on one side, write down every positive emotion that, or I should say, just write down all of your emotions that you experience in a week. Positive, negative, doesn't matter. Just every emotion you can think of. And so pause the video and do that right now. Write down everything that you felt in the past 7 days, good, bad, doesn't matter. Just make a list of every emotion you felt in the past week. And now, hopefully, that you're done after you pause the video, now look at how many of those emotions that you experienced or feelings that you experienced, how many of them were positive and uplifting emotions, and how many of them were negative. And most people often look at that and go, wow, most of the emotions I experience on a weekly basis are negative. So whatever you focus on is going to expand. And so you got to think in terms of the other thing is the quality of your life is going to be in direct proportion to the quality of the questions that you consistently ask yourself. And like one of the things that I found out, I know we've discussed about, this sometimes in the Mastering Yourself study group, but when I went to Date with Destiny at the Tony Robbins event, there's the first 2 or 3 days, he's taking you through different processes, and the goal is to help you figure out what your primary question is. And so everybody watching this has some kind of primary question. It's always going on in the back of your mind. You're always saying it, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. And usually for most people, it's very negative. And like speaking of being happy, one of the things that I found was that my primary question, and Katie did the same thing, this is one of the things we had in common, was no matter what happened, I bought a nice Lotus, I'd always wanted an exotic car, I finally get it, or I get a Rolex, or I go to Hawaii, I go to Pearl Harbor, I go to Maui. I went and saw all the places in Hawaii I dreamt of going since I was a little kid. Traveling around the world, having great girlfriends, having a nice house, nice cars, kick-ass business, nice clothes, nice watches, nice shoes. The best stuff that money can buy, basically. And what I realized that every time something good happened or just anything in general happened, the question I always asked myself was, why am I still not happy?
Mm.
So happiness is kind of like a moving target for people. Well, when I make $1 million, then I'm going to be happy. Well, when I get a girlfriend, that'll make me happy. Well, when I finally sleep with that girl that I've always liked, that'll make me happy. When I finally get married, then I'll be happy. When I have kids, I'll be happy. When I finally get a Lamborghini, then I'm really going to be happy. When I get my first house, then I'm going to be happy. When I start my own business, I'm going to be happy. Once the lawn is mowed, then I'll be happy. It's just there's always something that has to happen in order for us to say, okay, now we're happy, or I'll be happy then. And this is part of a story that we tell ourselves because what you realize is that you're putting off happiness. And there is no way to happiness, as Wayne Dyer used to say. Happiness is the way. In other words, you are consciously choosing what things mean to you. You're choosing to be happy or you're choosing to be miserable. And if you're like I was when I was younger and you're always going, why am I still not happy after everything that happened? How can you be not happy when you have cute puppies around?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're fun until they shit on the carpet or they piss at an inopportune time and then you got to clean it up. But point being is that if you're always asking yourself a disempowering question, like, why am I still not happy? The question presupposes that not only are you not happy, you're still not happy. So pretty much everything that's going on in your life, you have presupposed you're miserable and you're not happy. And I had no idea this was going on.
Mhm.
And it's somewhere along the way we all develop disempowering primary questions like that. Most of us are totally unaware of it. It's just like the self-talk. It's catch yourself and think about how you're talking to yourself. And so if you want to be happier, you have to ask yourself good empowering questions, good quality questions that will elicit a good positive response. So what do I have to be grateful for in my life? Well, it's Friday. We got two puppies who are, at least right now, being well behaved and they're kind of sleeping, which is nice. We're here with Caroline and Chunky and myself. Things are going well in life.
Video
I
2
got
when
my
it was going to
health.
be 1.
I thought we were just going to do one video today, and Caroline's like, no, let's do some viewer questions too. And I was like, okay, let's do some viewer questions. So we're doing viewer questions, even though I didn't really feel like it after we get finished filming. I'm going to be glad that we did it because now we'll be further ahead next week. And so you have to think in terms of constantly, what's good about this? What can I learn from this? Even when the worst things have happened in life, what can I learn from this? What's good about this? How can this help me be more successful next time around? How can I do better if you get rejected? What can you learn from that approach that didn't go well? To how can you improve on the next one? You always got to be asking a good, positive question. What do I have to be grateful for in my life? Maybe, a lot of people sometimes something you can do because discipline equals freedom, as Jocko Willink says. Have a little journal next to your bed. And before you get out of bed every day, before your feet hit the floor, do a little journaling for 5 minutes and just ask yourself, what do I have to be grateful for in my life today? What do I have in my life today to be happy? And just spend like 5 minutes every day doing that for like, say, 30 days and see what's different. Because when you do that, you're teaching your brain and you're forcing your brain even when you first wake up and the last thing you want to do is journal or write or do anything, you're asking your brain positive questions that have a positive type of outcome that you're looking for versus why, waking up every day going, why am I still not happy? Why does my life suck? Why does this always happen to me? A lot of people have questions like that. Why does this always happen? Why do things never work out? And when you think that way, you're presupposing things are not going to work out, and you're presupposing that you're not going to be happy no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And so when you realize that and you have an awareness of it, you realize that you're constantly setting yourself up for failure and to be miserable. So you have to remind yourself, what do I have to be grateful for in my life?
Mm-hmm.
What can I be grateful for? What could I be grateful for? And if you start out every day and you spend like the first 5 minutes just writing down anything that comes to mind in the morning, reasons to be happy. Hey, I'm going to close that big deal today. That's something to be excited and grateful for. I'm paying off my credit card today that I've been paying off for 2 years. I have something to be grateful for. I'm going to pick up my new car today. That's exciting. I've waited for this car. It's been on order for 6 months. This is exciting. Or I get to go out on a first date with that really hot girl I've always wanted to go out with. Hopefully it goes well. Wouldn't it be nice if it did go well? And even if you're in a negative mood and you feel like life sucks, it's hard to just go, you can't just say, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. I want to be happy, I want to be happy, and you make yourself happy. It doesn't work that way. You can ask yourself the kind of question that's like, wouldn't it be nice if today was a great day? Wouldn't it be nice if things worked out in my favor? Wouldn't it be nice if that date I'm going out on tonight really goes better than I expected? Wouldn't it be nice if that car I get an even better deal than I was expecting? Wouldn't it be nice if I went to that closing of that big deal and at the closing table, things are going so well, I end up making a bigger commission than I thought, and on top of that, the person likes me so much because I did such a good job that they refer me somebody else that's going to buy an even bigger property or do an even bigger deal with me. And so it's like a 2 for the price of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it dropped in your lap. Again, it stems from asking good quality questions. And if you catch yourself being miserable or catch yourself beating yourself up, saying, I suck, it's never going to work out, why does this always happen to me? You got to You can do it any time of day. You could be 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you're in your office and you're fucking miserable and you're thinking about all the things that are going wrong or have go wrong or could go wrong. And you realize, man, I'm really in a negative state right now. Well, if I could be happy right now, or if I was happy right now, what would I be thinking about that would make me happy? What could I contemplate on to make myself happy? What do I have to be grateful for in my life right now that I should be happy about?
Hmm.
Because if you ask that, that's a much better quality question. Your brain is forced to give you a good answer. So awareness of your self-talk is important. And like the exercise I was talking about at the beginning, just asking yourself, write down all the emotions and the feelings you've had in the last week. And most people, when they do that, most of the emotions and feelings are pretty negative. So no wonder you're miserable because you're focused on being miserable. You're asking yourself questions that elicit a negative response.
And I feel like a lot of people tend to fixate themselves over things and like material things. And once they do get it, they realize that they put too much emphasis on it. Like, let's say me getting like a townhouse, because that's something I'm looking forward to. I want to get a townhouse. I can get the townhouse, and I made it such a priority for so long. And I'm just like, I'm not going to be happy until I get my townhouse. And then I get it and realize, okay, I have the townhouse, but now that means more cleaning. That
Yeah,
means
you get all stressed out about your bills and you got to buy new
bills,
furniture and
fill
now
up
you need
more.
garden
Yeah.
hoses and who's going to cut the lawn.
Yeah. It's like a lot of things, and then you realize this isn't even making me happy. So it's like you have to realize that all this stuff is very like temporary, and the only happiness I feel is really within yourself. That all this stuff is outer things that can make you happy for a slight second, but it's not going to be forever as well. Like literally getting a new phone or something. You could have the oldest phone and you're like, I'm not going to be happy until I have the brand new iPhone. You get it and you realize it's not even as good as you thought it was. Um,
Yeah,
and
there's an art to happiness. There's an art of being fun. As one of my closest friends and I, we tend to talk about that several times a year. The art of having fun because this particular friend, he retired in the late 90s. I wrote about him in my book. Got a golden parachute when he was like 28, 29 years old, financially set up for life, and all he's done since then is trade stocks and make money in the market. Everything's paid for. He's got it, all of his houses are paid for, his boat's paid for, his cars are paid for, all the stuff in his house is paid for. He doesn't even have to work. He just has to read and do research so he can make good, smart trades with his money. But other than that, he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He can sleep in, he can do nothing. And so his whole life is about finding ways to not just be busy, but to do things that are fun and exciting and compelling to him, like hanging out with good friends and having a good conversation, or taking his yacht out someplace, or going somewhere with his girlfriend on a trip or whatever. Like now they're looking at potentially getting a villa in Europe so they can have a place to go to and enjoy themselves at. And but despite because most people would think a guy like that, I mean, he dipped in 98, 99. He left AOL. And so we're talking 25, 26 years. He's been completely on his own and not having had to work almost half his life now.
mhm.
And so he makes music. He does that for fun. He's even got a band now that he's playing with, and he's going to probably start doing some small little events. And he's writing music for them. I mean, they're singing in Spanish. And one of his songs he played for me, he played two of them. And the first one he played, it was really good. I don't know what they were singing about, but the singer that he's got's really good.
Mm.
And those guys are Colombian as well that
Oh,
he's singing
nice.
with. So, and that's just something that he and I have talked about off and on for 20 years, and he's written a lot of music. And he's a good piano player, and he's been trying to get better. And now he's in a band, which
Mhm.
was something I've never really kind of thought he would do. We talked about it, but now he's doing it
Yeah.
because he can.
Mhm.
But it's when you don't have to work, you don't have to have a job to go to, you don't have a boss to answer to, or investors to answer to. It's just himself and the market,
Yeah.
and making sure the cash flow keeps coming in and he can support his lifestyle.
And he's learning different things, which is like expanding his mind.
Yeah. And he doesn't have to do anything. So he has the ability every day to get up and only do stuff that he wants to do.
Must be nice.
And so again, it's not all sunshine and roses because there's some days he gets up and there's things in his life that he's not happy about. There's other things that he wants to do that he's not doing. There's things he wants to accomplish that he's not accomplishing. It's like he's got a different set of problems and circumstances that the average. He doesn't have any monetary problems,
Yeah. Not like,
but he struggles with the art of having fun just like I do and everybody else. So I think it's kind of like a 50-50 type of thing because inaction breeds fear and doubt. Taking action breeds confidence and courage. And like when you're really busy taking action, you're not really paying attention to am I happy or not because you're just focused on the task at hand. But when
mhm.
all your stuff is done and you're sitting at home late at night or you get up in the morning, you don't have to do anything and you're just present with your thoughts, that's when you're kind of evaluating your life.
Yeah.
And you have to ask good quality questions because if you don't and you never think about those things, most people, their self-talk sucks. It's extremely negative, and they're always looking for reasons why they're unhappy and more reasons why they're going to be unhappy in the future and continue to be unhappy. So being aware of that and being aware of your self-talk and the question, how do you talk to yourself? Are
Mhm.
you one of those people like, you're such an idiot. I do this. I always do the wrong thing. It never works out for me. If you're always thinking that way, then you're going to pretty much always be miserable.
Right.
And so I have to, like one of the things that I do is that I love is I have an amazing view, which you guys know from here. I get to watch all these gorgeous tens of millions of dollars and yachts go by my window every day. And I get to I've had mornings where I wake up and I'm just kind of in a cranky mood. And I look at the water and it's like, especially early in the morning when the sun hits the water and it's just glistening everywhere. Like billions of little suns being reflected off the water and just being amazed at the beauty of that. And there's nobody around because it's early in the morning, watching the coconut trees blow in the wind and the sun glistening off the water. It's like,
You
it's
get the
great.
best sunrise too.
Yep.
You don't get the sunset, but
Yeah. I'd have to go to the other side of the building for that.
you gotta pick and choose.
But I live in a cool place, nice area, plenty of restaurants, plenty of bars, plenty of water, easy place to boat, easy
Mhm.
to travel to. A nice area in general. Cool people, cool neighbors, cool friends, cool people to work with, cool puppies, even though they're out cold now.
Yeah.
So again, it's whatever you focus on expands. So focus on the good things. What do I have to be happy for? And if I'm not happy right now, what could I be happy about?
Hmm.
If I wanted to be happy, if I really wanted to be grateful, what do I have in my life to be grateful for? And what could I be happy about?